Fala, pessoal! Tudo bem com vocês? Hoje, o primeiro vídeo de uma série que eu quero fazer, que é Bate-Papo com Gringo. E por que eu quero trazer essa série para vocês? Essa série, eu quero trazer pessoas com sotaques diferentes, tá? Pessoas com vários sotaques dentro dos Estados Unidos, em outros países da língua inglesa, pessoas também que falam inglês de outros países, tipo Alemanha, Espanha, enfim, para que vocês possam apurar, trabalhar o listening de vocês, que é a compreensão auditiva, que vocês possam ter esse privilégio, né, essa oportunidade de ouvir pessoas de diversos lugares falando inglês. Imagina uma pessoa aprendendo português e tendo a oportunidade de ouvir brasileiros de diversos lugares do Brasil, um carioca, um paulista, um nordestino, ou uma pessoa de Portugal, da Angola, falando português. Então, isso é uma oportunidade que eu quero que vocês tenham, ok? Mas antes, eu quero te convidar a se inscrever no meu canal, ativar as notificações no sininho, para que você receba as novidades, né, quando surgir um novo vídeo, e também deixar seu like e o seu comentário. Eu sou Luciana Napi e hoje eu trago para vocês uma convidada super especial e ela vai falar da onde ela é, ok? Que é a Tifiny. Hello, Tifiny, how are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's very good to have you here again.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Tifiny, I have some questions for you. Are you ready to answer the question?
I'm ready.
Okay, so Tifiny, where are you from?
So I am originally from West Virginia. It's a state on the eastern side of the United States. I was born there. I was raised there. And then whenever I got married, I moved to California, to the other side of the United States.
Oh, really? But do you prefer California or West Virginia?
Well, see, that's a hard question because I lived in California for 10 years and I love California. California is probably where I call home. It's where our church is, our friends are. My husband's family is there, some of them. But there's also just something so special about West Virginia. I love to visit West Virginia. There's just something about the air there. The people there are so special. They're so kind, so warm. So that's a trick question. I have to say I love them both, but for different reasons.
Very good. And where do you live now?
So right now I live in the capital of Spain, in Madrid, right here in the city center of Spain, in Madrid.
So we are almost neighbors, right?
Yes, almost neighbors.
Okay. And did you live in other cities in Spain?
Yes, so about 5.5 years ago, my family and I, we moved from California and we moved to an island of Spain called Mallorca. And we lived there for a year. Right there, our backyard was the Mediterranean Sea. We swam every day. It was beautiful. So we lived there for a year and then we moved onto the mainland about 4 years ago.
And how was it to live in Mallorca?
Oh man, we were suffering every day. No, just kidding. It was beautiful. I mean, we had never lived on an island before. I had never lived by the beach, so close to the beach in my life. And so it was very dreamy. It was very awesome.
Good. And do you like to live here in Madrid?
I do. It is the first time I've ever lived in a city. I'm either from the country or we've lived in suburbs before, but this is the first time I'm in the city. And so it's definitely a different culture, not only being in Spain, but just being in a big city. And so there's a lot of stuff I've had to get used to, like always hearing noise, always running, just running to get wherever we need to go. But I also like it too. It's very convenient. There's always lots of people, lots of different cultures here in this city. And so there are definitely things I love about it, things that have been hard for me to get used to. But overall, yeah, I say I enjoy living here.
You are surrounded, always surrounded by people from different nations, different culture. How is it? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that being surrounded by so many different cultures is an interesting thing because when you live in your country, you do not have, you don't think about your culture. It's just something that you live. And so when you're pulled out of your own culture and you realize that things that have been normal to you, just even greetings or smiling, whatever it may be, that's just part of your everyday life that you never have thought of. You realize that they are cultural things, things that are just a part of your culture. And so to other people, that is something that is not a part of their culture. And so you start to see the differences in culture. And it can be a hard thing, but it can also be a beautiful thing because differences are beautiful, you know, and you can learn from each other. And it's cool to see just, I love to experience other people's cultures, to see different things. And I think with how the world is going right now, at least in America, it's something to stop and think about. Differences can be a beautiful thing that we can embrace, that we can enjoy, that we can learn from. And it doesn't have to be just because people are different. It doesn't have to be something offensive to us, but it can be something beautiful.
Yeah, that's interesting. Another question about culture. I know you are always surrounded by South Americans, right?
Mhm.
Latinos,
Yeah.
Latin people. Tell me something that you think is really beautiful about our culture.
Yeah, I think I love having South Americans in our lives. It is just, you guys are so warm. You're so friendly. It's very, I wouldn't say similar to Americans, but very warm and open. And so I think that kind of culture is not a part of Europeans for the most part. And so I just love being around South Americans because I get that. I get the friendliness, the warmth. A lot of South Americans don't have a bubble. Like some people can have this bubble, this space that's like, don't enter into my space. But South Americans don't have that. I mean, if I'm talking to a South American, they're like touching me, they're like in my face talking, and I love it. I just love it so much. Also, you all are very passionate about your food and you want to share that with other people. And so I love food, and so it's like, yes, I want to taste your food. I want to see what you're used to eating.
I know that you have had some Brazilian food. Do you remember the name of the Brazilian food you had?
Oh, I don't remember one name, but you guys
What?
have picked so many good things for us. Desserts, regular food, I can describe them to you, but I cannot tell you the name.
It was feijoada. Pessoal, a Tiffany comeu feijoada na minha casa. What do you think about feijoada, Tiffany? Did you like it?
Oh my gosh. Like is not the word. I've loved it. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Everything I've tasted of Brazilian food, I'm in love with.
Could you say something about our culture, the South American culture, that you think it's not that weird, but it's kind of different? It's for you?
Yeah. Yeah, something that's different about the South American culture is I think that people tend to stay in their parents' homes, in their families' homes for a longer amount of time than what Americans do. With Americans, it's like once you're 18, you're ready to get out of the house. Either you go to university or you go get your own place and work. So that is kind of like a push to separate from the family, to separate from the parents. But I think in South America, it's totally different, right? It's you stay with your family until maybe you're married.
You're right. That's right. So, Tifiny, you speak Spanish, right?
I try to speak Spanish, yes. I'm learning.
You speak very well. So, Tifiny, how was it to learn Spanish?
Oh, man, it was really hard. I mean, I'm still in the process. I think when you learn another language, I don't know if there's an end to it, because I think you're constantly learning maybe new phrases, or, you know, and how just language can change, you know, with just being modern, having modern phrases, modern things to say. But as a mom, because I didn't know anything of Spanish, nothing. And so when I started to learn, it was just, it's a lot. It's a lot to learn as an adult, as a mom, because as moms, we have tons of things in our head already, right? But I think the main thing in learning a new language is that you cannot be afraid to fail, because you are going to make a million mistakes, and that's okay. If you do not make mistakes, you're not going to learn. If you don't, just do it, and you have to practice. You can read all the books you want, but you have to practice. If you don't use it, you're not going to learn more. And so I think that's been the thing for me, is it can feel humiliating. It can feel embarrassing, because you feel like you're talking like a little kid. It's like, I want these people to know I actually went to university, but it doesn't seem like it, you know? Okay. And so, but it's just, you have to do it, and that's how you're going to learn. And so it's just to hang in there, to keep going. You are going to have times where you're frustrated, where you're discouraged, and you want to stop, but don't do it, because you'll just keep going.
And why are you here, Tifiny? Why do you live in Madrid now?
So my family and I moved here to plant a Christian church. And so we feel like the Lord has called us to be here in the city center, to build community with the people, to really love on them as Christ loves the church. We're supposed to love people. And so we want to be here in community with people. So we try to live our life in a way where we are in contact with people, bringing them in, allowing them to have a community where we share each other's lives with one another. We share each other's cultures, because our church is filled with many, many different cultures. And so it's a really cool thing.
E pessoal, vocês não podem imaginar o quão é importante o trabalho deles. Eu vou falar como eu conheci eles, tá? Porque muitas vezes quando você chega num lugar, você precisa ter conexões com pessoas, né? Conhecer pessoas. E então, nós procuramos na internet e vimos essa igreja internacional, e nós fomos no local onde estava o endereço. Só que quando nós chegamos lá, era a casa da Tifiny, né? Um prédio, nós tocamos lá. E eles falaram assim, olha, sobe aqui. E nós subimos no apartamento, né? Foi meu marido, eu, meu filho. E eles falaram, olha, a reunião não é mais aqui, mas entra. Toma um café conosco. A gente ficou assim, nossa, não, entra aqui. Aí eles estavam com mais uma família de americanos que mora na Itália. E, gente, vocês não têm noção como eles receberam a gente. Vocês não têm noção. Nós nos sentimos assim como já se conhecêssemos deles. Ficamos ali quase uma hora na casa deles. E depois nós começamos a frequentar um jantar que eles têm na casa deles, que agora, por enquanto, está paralisado. Mas de 15 em 15 dias, sexta à noite, onde vai pessoas de várias nacionalidades, pessoal. É uma coisa impressionante. E ali a gente pôde sentir, assim, começar a fazer amizades e nos sentir, assim, sabe, abraçados, sabe? Isso é muito importante para quem vai para um novo país, vai para uma nova cidade. Então, o trabalho deles, gente, é maravilhoso. E lá eu convivo com pessoas de diversos países e nós formamos uma família. Porque nós estamos longe das nossas famílias, em outro país, e ali você tem pessoas que estão na mesma situação. Então, o trabalho deles é maravilhoso, pessoal. E, pessoal, para finalizar finalizar, nós brasileiros que gostamos de tirar um sarro, de se divertir, eu vou pedir para a Tifiny repetir umas 2 ou 3 palavras em português. Claro, eu peguei aquelas bem difíceis, né, pessoal? Para a gente ver como ela vai sair, ok? So, Tifiny, I'm going to ask you to repeat 2 or 3 words in Portuguese. Could you repeat pindamonhangaba? Pindamonhangaba. Pindamonhangaba.
Pindamonhangaba.
Well, almost. Pindamonhangaba.
Pindamonhangaba.
Uau! Wonderful! Gente, vocês viram, gente, como ela pega rápido? Mas aí é que tá. Quando você aprende um segundo idioma, vai ficando mais fácil aprender outras palavras de outros idiomas, tá bom? Another one. Vamos lá, outra. Paralelepípedo.
Oh my. Again.
Paralelepípedo.
Pala de título.
Paralelepípedo.
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 Okay, Tifiny. Awesome. Very good. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Ok? Se inscreva no canal. Obrigada por me acompanhar até aqui. Vejo você no próximo vídeo. Bye. See ya.
Bye.